Hi, this is Coach Julien. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why ETFs are better than mutual funds. Hi, I'm Julien Regoli, CPA, CMA finance coach. My channel is set up and has three different key topics. One is how to save money. I have extensive experience on how to save money. My parents went through the war and I learned from them. They were extremely frugal and extremely shrewd when it came to saving money. But that's only part of the equation. You need to be able to invest that money. Once you save it, well, you got to do something with that money. You got to invest it so that money works for you. And the idea is to make the money work for you so you don't have to work. And the third topic is, the mindset, the thinking, how you think about money, the emotions that come with money, the fear, the greed. So those are the topics of my channel. If this interests you, then sign up to my channel, hit the bell button. You'll be notified whenever I upload new videos. Thanks in advance for watching. ETFs or mutual funds? I totally prefer ETFs, and I'll explain to you why. First of all, what are ETFs? When you buy an ETF, it's like buying many shares with one. You can buy an ETF in the TSX. It's like buying with one share of ETF. It's like buying all the shares in the Toronto Stock Exchange. It's amazing. A mutual fund is like buying, when you buy a mutual fund, you buy a unit of an investment fund. So the investment fund takes all the deposits from all the sales of the units and it invests it according to an objective and a policy. So you own a unit in an investment fund. One of the key differences between an ETF and a mutual fund is the commission structure. Usually the person pushing the mutual fund is getting a commission, is getting compensation when they sell you a mutual fund. In ETFs, less likely. There usually isn't a compensation behind. So whenever somebody is pushing you a mutual fund, ask them, and it's in your right to ask them, well, how much are you paid? How much do you get if I buy this mutual fund versus if I buy this ETF? Okay, because ultimately you, the investor, will be paying the cost of that commission. Don't think for a second that somebody else is going to absorb it. It's the investor that will have to absorb that commission. I have an issue with that because the financial advisor is more motivated to push mutual funds where they get more commissions than an ETF. And maybe the ETF is better for you as an investor. The dynamic there is they will push certain things that are not necessarily the best for the investor. So keep that in mind, folks, always. Another difference between the ETF and the mutual funds are costs. And ETFs tend to be passively managed. There's less buying and selling versus a mutual fund. They're more actively managed, more buying and selling. So the management expense ratio, which is the MER that you see, tends to be higher on mutual funds than ETFs. And those costs, by the way, are absorbed by the investor, so they diminish your return. Also, mutual funds tend to pass on administrative costs to their investors, whereas ETFs, they tend to be absorbed by the dealers. So there's another reason why ETFs tend to be lower costs than mutual funds. Trading costs tend to be less with ETFs because they trade in kind versus the mutual funds that need to manage the cash flows of the funds. They tend to have higher trading costs. Okay, the other thing with ETFs is they have better tradability. ETFs sell like a share, on the stock market. When the market opens, they buy and sell. You can see the price fluctuate during the day, and the price tends to follow the basket of shares that the ETF represents. You could put special orders for an ETF. You could put like a limit order, stop orders, just like a share. You could put special kind of orders on ETFs, something you can't do with mutual funds. Mutual funds, you cannot put special order. Just say, look, I'd like to buy this mutual fund, and the pricing of the mutual fund only is available at the end of the trading day. So only end of day pricing when it comes to mutual funds. What I like with ETFs is you've got continuous and transparent pricing, whereas mutual fund, the pricing is only available at the end of the day. The transparency of an ETF is more interesting. And there's something called the tracking error, and that's the difference between the ETF and the mutual fund. and the actual index that it's following. Because mutual funds have higher costs and because there's a time lag, a greater time lag between the time that they get the cash and the time that they do the investments, there tends to be a tracking error, a greater tracking error with mutual funds compared to ETFs. Another point is taxation. Taxation for an ETF is more efficient because they tend to be more passive. There's less buying and selling, and so there's less asset turnover and therefore less capital gains. Versus mutual funds, they tend to be more actively managed. There's more buying and selling, therefore more capital gain. One advantage of a mutual fund, so just to be fair, is that they tend to automatically reinvest dividends, whereas ETFs, the dividends are not necessarily reinvested. Not all of them. Most of them, you collect the dividend like a share, and then it's up to you to reinvest it. The other thing is with mutual funds, you can buy partial units. So say you have only $50 to invest. Well, you can buy a partial unit. So say the mutual fund is end of day price is $120. Well, you can buy part of that $120 mutual fund versus an ETF. It's like a share. So if the share is worth $120 and you only have $50, well, you can't buy a partial ETF. You either buy a share or you don't buy it. So look, guys, in my opinion, ETFs are the way to go. They're cheaper, more tax efficient, they're more transparent and tradable. My recommendation is to invest in ETFs. I've got videos that talk about certain ETFs. I have a video that talks about my lazy portfolio strategy, so take a look at that. I also have a video on how to start investing. So take a look at those videos and also stay tuned because I've got some videos coming up on ETFs that I recommend. So folks, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments area of the video. If you want to book a one-on-one with me, free one-on-one for a limited time, you can do so. You'll find the link to do that at the bottom in the description of the video. If you like this video, hit the like button. That really helps out. And don't forget to sign up because I got more videos coming up. And if you hit the bell button, you'll be notified whenever I upload new content. Thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you real soon.